Hello, NBA fans, and welcome back to another episode of the NBA The Week That Was. Today, we will be continuing with the good, the bad, and the ugly series here on this channel. Today will be another guest analysis episode. Today, with me, I have Jaden, a good friend of mine. You can introduce yourself, Jaden.
Hi guys, I'm Jaden. I'm one of Raga's friends at Stevenson, and yeah, I'm a Pistons fan. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for being here, Jaden. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's hear what Jaden's thoughts are on the team this year. Go ahead.
Okay, I guess we could start with the good. I like being optimistic. I think Pistons, they're overlooked for their shooting, but I think that's one of the aspects we can focus on the most, especially for the future. I mean, in today's era, 3-point ball is like super important. I think the Pistons have, I think, four guys who shoot 40% from three. We have Kennard, Snell, Spee, and Galloway. They all shoot around 40. I think that's pretty impressive. We have a good backcourt that we can work with. And then I think our young players, we have Kennard, Wood, Sequoia, when he develops, we have a good shot at being a contending team in the future when we develop all our players because Dwayne Casey is a good coach.
Definitely. I was just about to mention Dwayne Casey. He won Coach of the Year with the Raptors. He's a great developmental
Mm-hmm.
guy. We saw that with, he took Kyle Lowry's game to the next level. He made, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, what DeMar DeRozan is today.
Yeah.
And overall, he's just a great coach for the culture that is needed in Detroit. It's a young team. They need a veteran coach who can really guide them rather than a coach like the Bulls coach, Jim Boylan, who is a veteran coach, but it was his first head coaching job. But he just didn't treat the young team well. While I feel that Dwayne Casey is the perfect guy to, lead them. And also, I feel that Luke Kennard, you mentioned on Luke Kennard, he'll be a great rotational piece for the Pistons moving forward. Even though he might not seem like that star prospect, I feel that the Pistons should work really hard to retain him because he's, as you said, he's a 40% shooter. Those, honestly, even though they aren't rare, I just really like his game, Luke Kennard overall.
Mm.
If the Pistons can get that, franchise star that we'll talk about later in this episode, I feel that Luke Kennard's the perfect complemental piece. He's a fit. You know how there's some guys who are like glue guys. They're fit on any,
Yeah.
and those, in my opinion, are rare in the NBA. If you can step it up a bit on defense, but maintain his 3-point shot, he's the perfect complemental piece for the Pistons.
Yeah, exactly. I
Mhm.
mean, you mentioned defense, and that's one of the worst things that the Pistons face this year. I think statistically, we're one of the bottom three teams in the league, honestly.
Mhm. No,
And it's just really tough for us.
I feel that the Pistons this year realized that it was a rebuilding year. We saw
Yeah.
that with they traded away. They cut. Did they cut Reggie Jackson or trade him away?
Yeah, I think they released him so he could go to the Clippers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what I believe. So Reggie Jackson was always a fundamental piece, but they realized that now's the time we have to tear everything up. Teams always.
Hmm.
I don't think there's never been an NBA team who's never realized, oh, it's time to tear it up, focus on the young guys and develop them. That's why, I felt that they really undersold on the Andre Drummond trade. Like
Yeah.
John Henson, Brandon Knight, and a second-round pick aren't really worth 15 rebounds and 15 points a game from Andre Drummond. But I just feel it's the Pistons recognizing that the time is here for rebuild. What do you think about Blake Griffin in this situation? What's going to happen there?
I think honestly, after he made the All NBA third team, we should have traded him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even before that, he had a lot of value that we could have gotten young assets for. I think a team like Portland or something that's trying to contend could use that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But now that he's injury prone, I think he still tends to have a higher usage rate
Mm-hmm.
despite his inefficient shooting. I think before this season, he was really great, and I loved his game style. He became more of a perimeter threat, and I appreciated that, him adjusting to the game. But at the same time, after injury, he kind of took a steep fall, and that affected our players negatively.
Definitely. Even though he adapted his game to, being a more all-around game versus his Clippers days when he was just an
Yeah.
athletic beast who would just dunk the ball. But he's just too injury prone. I think the biggest problem is that massive contract that you guys have to
Yeah.
that guy. I don't think any team, maybe you said Portland, I agree. They're a team that's looking for that third piece to, take them all the way. But still, I don't know if they would want to give up a young player or stuff for a washed up Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
And as I said, Andre Drummond, they undersold. And then I also feel the two trades that they missed on that they should have done. I agree they should have traded away Blake Griffin in the offseason, but Derrick Rose as well.
Ooh.
He was great for the Pistons this year, solid 18, 19 points. But if they traded him to a team like the Lakers, got in, Kuzma or a first-round pick or something like that, just add to, the plethora of like pieces you need, in order to develop your team, like picks and young players. I feel that still, I think if Derrick Rose is under contract, definitely let him go in a trade and get another young piece.
Yeah. I think guys that are veterans on this team, like D Rose and Blake, could have been potential starters on contending teams. I think especially a team like the Lakers, they could definitely use the scoring guard, and we missed out on that opportunity.
I
And
think you could have gotten Kuzma and either
exactly.
Kuzma or a first, and it would have either or would have been really good
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah, and imagine like Kuzma and Wood just in that front court. That would have been dominant, you know?
Exactly. If that offense already lethal, if they could develop their defense, they're young. It takes time to develop defense. That would be
Hmm.
a really good front court. But so you're mentioning
Yeah.
Christian Wood. I think you must be very happy with that.
I am so excited. I, as a Pistons fan, I didn't expect him to blossom that much when Andre Drummond left. I think he took his game to the next level, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won at like most improved player next year.
Definitely. I feel that Christian Wood, I think he's played for 3 or 4 teams before the Pistons. They all really didn't believe in him. I know he played for the Bucks, but I think he played for 1 or 2 other teams. No one really gave him the opportunity. But in Detroit, he found the perfect opportunity, especially with Andre Drummond leaving and Blake Griffin injured. He really blossomed into – I honestly, again, don't believe he's the first option on a contending team. But again, like Chris Middleton is to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
He can be that player to, the star that Detroit hopefully finds.
Yeah,
For you guys say another player I actually like in Detroit is Bruce Brown, right? Isn't he?
yeah,
He's just a stingy guy, a great defender.
yeah.
He
I
like
think he's one of the people who actually puts hustle in defense, and that's what I appreciate about him.
if there's 3 untouchables on your team, I feel it would be four. There's 4 untouchables. I feel that the Pistons should try their best to retain. Obviously, Christian Wood should not be let go. Same with Sekou Doumbia. I think you'd
Yeah,
want to talk about him later, but I'll mention it now. He's a bit of a raw prospect, so you never know.
yeah,
Like we can see what happened with Giannis in the Bucks. I feel he has the same, athletic. I think he can go either way. He can go like Frank Ntilikina went for the Knicks, or
yeah,
Giannis went with the Bucks. He has those same physical tools. It's just how the Pistons develop him. So I think those are the 2 most untouchable. As I said, Luke Kennard should not. I don't think he should really leave due to his abilities as a complemental piece. And then of course Bruce Brown, just because of I think he's 24, 25. He'll still suit the timeline, and he's a great defender. Just a great 3-and-D guy.
yeah.
But
I think if you're comparing it to the Bucks, it's like Christian Wood would be the Chris Middleton, and Bruce Brown would be kind of our Eric Bledsoe. Like
definitely.
he can score buckets, but he's mainly there for the hustle. He's there for a little bit of playmaking and defense.
Exactly. And you want to talk about Sekou Doumbia, how you felt about that this year?
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of wary about him, and with good reason. I mean, his stats this year, he was inefficient and he didn't really play that much. But I think he has this raw athleticism and potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with the right coaching, especially under Dwayne Casey, he can kind of develop into an NBA environment. I think
Definitely.
that's just what he's not used to, and he has to accustom to that.
I
Especially
feel.
as a 19-year-old, he's one of the youngest in his draft.
Yeah, exactly. He was he's French, right? I think he's French.
Yeah.
He's like, all these guys, they play in international leagues. They're great there, but the NBA is a
Mhm.
whole different ballgame. So it takes
Yeah.
time getting used to it. And I feel that, as you said, Dwayne Casey's the perfect guy to do that. In Toronto, I can't really think of international. I mean, I think he was the one who helped, obviously Masai Ujiri, their
Yeah.
GM, was crucial in drafting Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, but it was Dwayne Casey, who trusted them. Like I remember in the playoffs, even though they lost to LeBron, he gave OG Anunoby crucial minutes. He trusts young players, which is crucial for a guy like Sekou. If they do what the Knicks did with Ntilikina, not trust the guy, I feel that would be a bad situation. But he's in the right place in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
what do you think looking forward? What do you want in the draft? I already did an episode. Again, I'll cover it again. But
Yeah.
what are your opinions on the draft this year?
I am super excited because LaMelo seems like a top prospect that won't go that high. I think a lot of the teams that were tanking this year who need high draft picks won't look for a guard. And that's really fortunate for us because people like the Warriors organization and the Cavs already have 3 guards. The Minnesota Timberwolves might want to pair him with D'Angelo Russell, but that's a what if scenario.
Yeah, same
And
with
then
the
the Hawks obviously have Trae Young.
Yeah, it's like the Hawks and the Timberwolves, they might consider him due to, his just insane scoring abilities as we've
Yeah.
seen. But again, the Hawks and the Timberwolves both have offensive-minded guards who are kind of bad at defense. So adding another really good offensive player who's bad at defense isn't suitable for both organizations, which is why I feel that Detroit has a great chance at landing LaMelo. What do you
At the
like
same
about?
time, that's one of the reasons I'm scared of him, though, because we need a two-way player desperately,
Yeah,
on our team.
yeah.
Like we talked about with the defensive statistics. We need a guy who's a two-way player.
Mhm.
That's why I think Onyeka, Big O, would be also a really good option for the Pistons.
Mhm. I feel that like even though he's not the most flashy player, I talked to about my friend in the Bulls episode. He's that really like he's a good player.
Mm,
Like he's not going to be your star, but he's going to be that crucial piece that every title contender needs. And it's
hmm
not never too bad, drafting that guy. So
Yeah.
if it's up to you. If you were the Pistons GM, well, I'm going to give you two scenarios. You land up with a third pick, and then let's say the Warriors and the Cavs have the first pick. They take Wiseman, and the Cavs take let's see, the Cavs take and no, the Warriors take Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
The Cavs take Wiseman to create that Drummond Wiseman front court. Who do you want with the Pistons? The third pick.
I would honestly risk it for LaMelo. I think definitely with our coaching staff and then complementing him with young pieces and a shooting backcourt, that's like the perfect fit for him. We give him playmaking options in Kennard, Galloway, Spee, all those guys we talked about. And then also with the big men with Blake Griffin, if he returns healthy, and Christian Wood. I think plus under the mentorship of Derrick Rose for one more year, I think you could truly blossom into someone who's
Definitely,
a
I can agree
superstar.
with you. Having Derrick Rose there would be good for any young guard that the
hmm
Pistons end up drafting. Yeah, I would if I were in that same situation. I would consider Onyeka, but looking at the
hmm
potential that LaMelo Ball like you can see the potential that that guy has. That would be like a great fit in Detroit. What do you like about LaMelo's game?
I think we need that scorer. We don't have that guy yet who can count on to get consistent buckets at an efficient pace.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a lot of shooters, but they can't play make. And because of that, they're really limited on their offense. So I think LaMelo brings that to the table. He's already had experience. He's already faced big crowds. He knows what it's like to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's important because, like you said about Big O, he's not going to be that superstar no matter how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pistons desperately need a superstar in order to become contenders again.
Exactly. I feel that the Pistons have always like whenever they won the championships, like the Bad Boy era, or
hmm
that when they beat the Lakers in the 2004 finals,
Yeah.
they've always played team basketball. But the current NBA, it's very rare that you can create that team setting that can lead you all the way. Like I give an example as a Hawks fan, that 2014-2015 Hawks. Amazing regular season team, but we didn't have the defining star that always is crucial in the playoffs. And then we saw it in last year's playoff. The Raptors, they always had that solid regular season team. But when they got Kawhi, that superstar to take them to the next level, that's what I feel that the Detroit Pistons need with LaMelo Ball. I feel it would be like a similar situation to what the Grizzlies have with John Morant, because
Mm,
Morant went into a situation as the alpha dog. I feel that if LaMelo goes into the Pistons, he'll be that main guy, and that'll be really
yeah.
good for his game. But if you don't end up with LaMelo, is Onyeka your second option?
I would take him. I would consider Killian Hayes because
Mm-hmm.
we do need a point guard. But yeah, I think Big O would be a better fit for Detroit just to kind of have that guy two way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can't get LaMelo, then obviously we need a defender who can help us there if we want to become playoff team again.
Definitely. And honestly, like because I think Sekou's like 6'8", 6'9", long guy.
hmm
Christian Wood 6'11". Onyeka is 6'9", but he plays way bigger than his size. That's a
Yeah.
menacing front court for the future if they're
hmm
developed well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great talking to you, Jaden, today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Any final thoughts for the Pistons for next year?
Yeah, I think we have to be patient. I think as Pistons fans, like in 89, 90, no one expected us to be that good until Isaiah Thomas blossomed. And no one expected the '04 Pistons until Chauncey Billups stepped up. So I think if we do get that superstar who can bring our game to the next level, then we're going to be successful in the future.
Definitely. As a Hawks fan, I completely agree. To all my Hawks fans out there, patience is key. All right. Thank you, Jaden. And with that, we wrap up the 9th episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA, the week that was. If you enjoyed this guest analysis episode, please leave a like down below and subscribe as well. If you have any feedback regarding how it went, our conversation or just overall content we spoke about, please leave it in the comments down below. And I'll catch you guys next week on the next episode of the NBA, the week that was. See ya.